We finally can talk about it since Rocksteady let us talk about the alpha Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and in that alpha test, we finally get an answer for the burning question that a lot of people were wondering about. Okay, maybe not a lot of people, or maybe a lot, I don't know, but for me, I really wanted to know. Anyways, Arkham Batman joins the Justice League after Batman Arkham Knight. There was no league prior to that game. This changes a lot. If you've seen any of my shorts or other videos, I always was a believer that the Justice League was established even back in Arkham Asylum because it was there where there was an Easter egg in that game about the Injustice Gang, which is a supervillain team that fights the Justice League in the comics. So I was going off that, but I was wrong, very much wrong. The League was formed after Arkham Knight, it's confirmed. And the way they did it, I think is a really weird setup for this universe, but it does give us a lot of insight on Superman, and I think that's pretty cool, so let's talk about it. Before we do, real quick, trying to get 1,000 followers on Twitter. It's my end of the year goal, so if you guys can do that, really appreciate it. Links in the description, let's keep it pushing. Okay, so how does the Justice League find Batman and Arkham Knight? Okay, so just so you guys aren't waiting, basically after the events of Batman Arkham Knight, Superman in particular finds Batman and helps him in his new life after his identity is revealed, Bruce's identity. And in doing so, they work together with other heroes, aka Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern, and form the Justice League. And then they go on Justice League adventures for like 5 years until the events of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, this is really controversial, and I'm just itching to play the game so I can actually learn the full story of this in detail, but there's a ton to unpack here, so let's just jump into what we know so far about the Justice League here. So I saw a lot of comments online about how people say this ruins Arkham Knight's ending, or they don't like this or that, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Now, like I said, I thought at first that this was an awesome way of introducing the League, but thinking about it more, this is potentially really lazy, but I'm not making assumptions until the game comes out. But a lot of questions before are answered, like where was the League in Arkham Knight? They weren't there because they didn't exist. But like I said, there's a lot to unpack here, so let's try to get all the details down. I wanted to make this video before playing the full game because the full game will answer more for us surely, but I think we have enough now as a community to make a full video of the Justice League in this universe as it stands. I'll likely make an updated one once the game comes out, but yeah. Okay, so why do I think the way they handled the League here sounds potentially lazy? Well, let's take a look at it. So recap for the end of Arkham Knight, Batman's identity is revealed to the world as Bruce Wayne. How does Batman handle this? He kills himself. Just kidding, but he blows up his manor when he's going inside it and it makes it seem like he and Alfred died. And it works, people think Batman's dead along with Alfred. But we see in Arkham Knight that he is still alive because at the very end, we see him using Scarecrow's fear toxin to become Nightmare Batman, still protecting the streets of Gotham, and this is confirmed to be Batman. We even see him use this in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League in one of the recent trailers. So 5 years later, he's still using that fear toxin from Scarecrow, which is pretty interesting. But we know, or at least we can assume, that Batman's life before this was going in a downward spiral. Like, Batman, even though he was still Batmaning with the fear toxin, he didn't like his new life. He was honestly kind of depressed. And how do we know this, or at least can assume this? Well, this Multiverse Batman comic right here, Batman issue 135. This comic's Batman jumps to different universes, and one of the universes is the Arkham universe. And in this Arkham universe, he meets Arkham Batman, obviously. And we know it's post-Arkham Knight Arkham Batman because his dialogue confirms it. And basically what he says here is that his life is pretty much ruined because his identity is revealed. This here shows that Bruce was becoming pretty much depressed. He thought his life was ruined. He was lost. He was having trouble finding a new purpose or a new way to become a vigilante. It was taking a toll on him. Just look at the way he's sitting here. He's sad. Some reasons maybe because people he cares about are in danger, like Alfred, maybe the Bat family, but also his own life too. He can't go back to who he once was. He has to fully commit as Batman now. To further support that he was depressed, I can't show footage from the alpha, beta, whatever, and I'm kind of forgetting how the reveal went a little bit, but when finding out Bruce joined the Justice League, I believe he was kind of discussing how Bruce felt lost after the events of Arkham Knight until Superman found him. So Superman was the big factor here in giving Batman purpose again. Superman found Bruce, talked to him, and I'm assuming befriended him here, telling him there's more like him, like Superman himself and the other League members, and Batman joins them in creating the Justice League, giving himself a newfound purpose. You have to think about it too, like eventually people will find out Bruce is still alive and is Batman. He can't just be a Nightmare Batman forever before someone picks up on it, right? So him joining the league here, I think is a solid idea, as he now has a new life and has different kinds of challenges that other heroes can help him with. Now, I say it's a solid idea, and I know it may belittle Arkham Knight's ending because yeah, I can totally see that. But you gotta see it as a continuation. Batman went through all these sacrifices thinking that he was kind of alone in all of this besides his Bat family, but he made his goodbyes with them. But besides them, he didn't know heroes like Superman personally at this point. He's not going to just rely on them to help him, so he had to go with the Nightfall Protocol, but his identity being revealed was taking a toll on him, and Superman is the one that helps him get out of that. That's the way I'm seeing the story right now, and I don't think this is the worst thing they could have done. Yes, we need to see this. I wish Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League wasn't the game to do all this, because it's just kind of dumb. This is the continuation after the Arkham games. I don't think it ruins Arkham Knight's ending like this game. And for the record, I don't think Arkham Knight had this perfect ending people are saying. What made it perfect? I think there's so many questions that were left unanswered at the very end of that game. I don't think it was a perfect ending by any means, although it was a satisfying conclusion to the Arkham series. But I don't think, personally, that Arkham Knight's ending was perfect. It was far from it. The fact of the matter is, they needed a game to show all of this. They could have conveyed it so much better if they did it that way. Maybe have Batman come out of his Nightmare Batman phase to stop a world-ending threat along with the other heroes. I think that could have been way better. Instead, we have this game to work with, and I'm not going to trash on it because I need to play the full game to experience everything, because maybe the full game will tell us more. But as it stands, yeah, it's not as awesome as I thought at the beginning. Now, one thing I like about what we know so far is that it gives a lot of character to Superman if you read more into it. Clark finding him after Arkham Knight shows that he cares about other heroes. He straight up went to go check up on Bruce, like, hey pal, you good with all this? And told him that, hey, you're not alone, there's others like you, come join us and we can be a force for good kind of thing. It's a very wholesome thing, and why I like this particular detail is that it really captures that world's finest dynamic. Batman and Superman are meant to be brothers, best friends. They'll die for each other, and having this as probably their first interaction together, I think is pretty cool. And maybe it wasn't their first interaction. Superman was established in Arkham Knight to already be a hero, assuming for a while, honestly, the way people just casually dropped his name.
So Bruce Wayne, huh? Never would have guessed. The next thing you know, someone's gonna tell me Superman's really a janitor. Oh no, a journalist.
And Bruce has been in Metropolis because that's where he smashed Talia, because that's what she basically says in Arkham City.
You didn't need to get yourself arrested to see me, Bruce. After that night we spent in Metropolis, you could have just called.
So Batman has possibly interacted with Superman before, or Bruce Wayne has possibly interacted with Clark Kent before. It could have definitely played out where Bruce went to the Daily Planet in Metropolis for some business thing and met Clark there. Kind of like the Superman animated series. But even if he's never met or interacted with Clark or Superman, Batman 100% knows about Superman. There's no way he doesn't. The Justice League holograms in the Hall of Justice also pretty much point out that Superman really liked Bruce. And this makes me so happy to say because I love it when Superman and Batman are best friends. It's amazing storytelling. And this is like the one thing so far I really like that they handled with the Justice League here, because it kind of starts with Superman and Batman becoming friends, right? Maybe they don't create the League right then and there. Maybe some kind of event forms the team or something. Either way, I can already see that the Justice League here isn't just a team of people working together, but friends that would die for each other. They made Superman very wholesome based off the things you see here, which is how you capture Superman. The one thing I really hate, like I said earlier, is that we don't see this. The game reveals it's public knowledge that Supes finds Bruce and befriends him and creates the Justice League since it's in the Batman Museum, but I want to see that. I want to see the League forming, and I really hope we see something like that. Maybe a flashback, DLC, something? Because this is a very controversial way of the League forming. I know the Arkham games reference a lot of things without showing it, but this game should show us. It's a pretty big event, and they should show it or at least talk about it more. But here's the thing, I don't think it ruins the character of Batman here, at least not right away. You have to think there's a 5-year time gap. Things change. Batman's whole life has changed. Him joining the League here is not something out of the blue necessarily, especially if they delve into it more. I agree though that if this is the only piece of info we get where it's just the cardboard figures of Batman and Superman shaking hands with Jack Ryder narrating about it, it's very lazy and very dumb. You have to show us. You can't not just show us? It's just crazy to me. If it is, then it could ruin the character of Batman, definitely. But I'm reserving my full judgment after I 100% the game and know everything. I always just been like that. I can't say this is crappy writing until I get to play the game and know everything for myself. I need that full picture, you know? And I need to play the game to do that. I know a lot of people are angry about this, and rightfully so. People are saying this kills Batman's character, or it doesn't make sense, or this or that. Me, like I said, I'm waiting when I play the game and get a full grasp of the lore it brings to the table before I make any actual thoughts. But I do think, as it stands on how I see it with Batman being depressed, is that it does make sense that the League finds him and helps him out because of it. It could make sense. Maybe it doesn't, but I think if they write it well, it could. But this is a major character arc, and that's the issue. You can't just skip this. Like I said, we need to see this. But I doubt we do because we're getting a Suicide Squad game, and if we don't, it's really dumb because there's potential here, good potential. I don't think people understand that Batman is not a loner and he's kind of depressed most of the time. Batman is as strong as the family he surrounds himself with. I think him joining the Justice League here can work. They need to tell us more. We need to see more. I'm not going to make assumptions until I play the entire game. And the more I think about it, I guess it didn't make sense the League was formed before Arkham Knight because, like, it leaves a lot of questions, like why they were never mentioned and stuff. And it might be weird to write that, like where Batman's just kind of like, hey guys, my identity is revealed. I'll just be a full-time League member. This is why I'm not a writer. I suck ass at it. I think the way they're doing it can work because 1, it establishes that Superman-Batman friendship, and 2, it could potentially make sense lore-wise. Batman was depressed after Arkham Knight, and it was the League that got him back on his feet. And it fits really well with the theme of allies from Arkham Origins, where Batman understands that allies are what's keeping him afloat. So thematically, it makes sense here, and I love that. Okay, maybe I don't love it, I take that back, but maybe I do. I don't know. It's hard to say because what we have so far could have a good premise, but right now, it just seems bad the way they're explaining it, dude. Maybe not bad, but like lazy. It can't be as simple as Batman just saying yes to Superman and joining the Justice League. And keep in mind, it's Jack Ryder narrating it in the game, so you know how Jack Ryder is. He could be telling a completely fabricated story, but we'll just have to wait and see until the game comes out. You gotta think about it from a writing standpoint, how they can introduce the League. And while some people may not like it, I think it can work if written correctly, which I don't know. And it's crazy how that Batman comic showing him really helped to build this up. This comic may not be canon to Arkham Batman, but the part where he's sad after the events of Arkham Knight, we can assume is true. And it's very wholesome that Superman's the guy that helps him get out of that position. I know I'm praising Superman a lot here, but that's because I think he sounds like a great version of the character here, and I love Superman, so I'm really happy about that at the very least. I'm gonna dap up Superman. I'm an optimistic person, sue me, okay? Whatever. Now, we need to know more. We need to know how long the other heroes have been active. Was Batman the first superhero in this universe? Did him and Clark start around the same time? I hope they answer stuff like this. Rocksteady's known for their detail and lore, so yeah, let's just hope. And also, we can finally put this meme to rest. The meme is now not applicable anymore. Batman beat the stupid allegations. Let's all give a round of applause for Arkham Batman. We'll see how they elaborate on this if they do, which I'm hoping they do. I really want to know more about their adventures and how they formed more so in detail. But what do you think about this? Do you think it was a smart way of introducing the League? Let me know your thoughts. And as always, I appreciate any support on the video. Always appreciated, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe and peace.